muted. They can't hear me now, right? Pat, no. Can you hear me?
Mr. Bradley, we can hear you.
Okay. And Justin. Pat, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay.
Gentlemen, are we starting? Are you guys on the board or are you?
Yes, we haven't started the meeting yet.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Gallagher. I apologize. I've never been on a web like this, so I was just
Okay.
checking to make sure I'm working. Okay.
Okay, you're working. Go ahead and mute, and when we call your case, you can go ahead and unmute.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
See the first case, man? Pat,
Yes,
is he the first case?
we're waiting for Carmela.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, give me a few more minutes. I'm gonna allow a
got
couple
it.
more appellants.
Sure.
Lee, could you come here real quick?
Wave. Carmela wants you to come to the thing.
Brittany, your mic is on.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you can start with the preamble.
Okay, in compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you. Be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded by way of the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed by way of YouTube. All requests to speak on a particular matter by way of our website and email have been considered. We also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Mr. Jacobson?
Hi, Mr. Chairman, this is Dan Jacobson from the Law Department. Preliminarily, I want to verify that the live stream is on and functioning.
We are live streaming.
And as the Law Department has done since these meetings have gone virtual and or hybrid, law objects to the use of the chat function. Basically, should these meetings have been held in person here at City Hall, side chats would not be allowed or available. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jacobson. Ms. Davis?
Mr. Bradley,
Hello, here?
Ms. Lipscomb,
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here. Okay, we only have 3 board members, which means that if our decision is not unanimous, which it usually is, then your appeal goes back to the city. If for that reason you prefer not to have your case heard, then let me know when we call your case that you would like to reschedule your case. Okay, we'll call so we have a quorum based upon the three members. We'll call the first billing docket A1723 is withdrawn. So we'll move on to the next docket, A2923. 1306 West 116th Street.
Application and fees are in order. This is a notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance. Issued on January 12th of 2023. Appeal was received February 1st of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for today's hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dave Jacobson, Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Hi, yes, Chase Alexander with Let's Property Management LLC.
Okay, Mr. Alexander, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
So we've been working very diligently with Inspector Derritt, and we've got the interior work completed. As far as she's concerned, she has noted a couple other things that she would like fixed on the exterior, which is taking more time. We did have a death of the owner at the end of last year. And unfortunately, this got lost in the first part of the year. And it's just taken a little bit of time. I've been working diligently with her, and she's said that she's talked with you guys about extending the time period for us completing this, since we are like 90% done. But she has asked the exterior windows get painted as well, which is going to take some time.
How much more time do you think you'll need?
If we can get 2 months, just to make sure that we can get the exterior painted correctly. With all the rain and stuff lately, it's been kind of hard to dry out the windows. But I think 2 months would be enough to get the windows painted around the exterior, make sure the caulk is dried before we paint so it doesn't start peeling.
Okay. See, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, we don't object to more time, but we ask for no further extensions. This is a large apartment building. As I've said many times, this all should have been taken care of before the city had to expend resources to send an inspector out and write a violation notice. As property owners and management companies, there's an expectation that the property is maintained before we get there. And we did have a few days of rain after 12 days of sunshine. So It's not like it's been a rainy season, so we don't object to 2 months, but we ask for no further extensions and that all violations are abated in that 60-day period.
Okay, so we will grant the 60 days to August 21st, 2023, with no further extensions to complete all violations. Motion is in order.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second,
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, so notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, next docket is A3023, 1900 Train Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance, issued January 12th of 2023. Appeal received February 9th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her owner, with the appellant or his or her representative or attorney, please state your name for the record.
Are we seeing anyone?
David Riemann Snyder. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Riemann Snyder, you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Yeah. So we fixed the door area. That was one of the violations of it being open in the garage door. In terms of the masonry work on the building, I purchased that building and the one across the street from it. The 1900 building is 100 years old, and the masonry work alone is going to cost around $450,000. We have the property listed for sale right now, and we have one offer on the table that I'm trying to get the deal done. But I don't think this is going to be something that, unless it's just a couple of small spots. I know the notice said that there was bricks that need replaced, but the masonry work is going to be extensive.
Okay, let's see, you're requesting here is. So you were looking for more time. How much more time do you think they're gonna need?
Well, probably a year, I would say. I mean, in order to fully renovate the building or to get the masonry work done, we would need civil engineering. I mean, there would be a lot to do.
Okay, has anything been turned into that to the city?
I did send in initial plans for the renovation of it. I did send it to Mario Gerchich.
Okay, very good. All right, let me go over to Mr. Vanover and see what he has on it.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, when did you take possession of this property?
It would have been August of 2019.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, there's still two notices of violation from 2021 open on this property for the occupancy and the vacate order, that those have not been closed. We would ask that you deny any more time, remand it back to the Department of Building and Housing, because more time to sell the property is not a viable plan. The owner will still be responsible for the repairs, and if he sells it, then he will still have the responsibility but not have the authority to make the repairs. So we ask that you deny any more time, remand it back to the Department of Building and Housing. These conditions did not happen overnight or because of a singular event, and the conditions of the property influence the purchase cost, the purchase price, and with an expectation to sell it to another owner, that's not a viable plan. So we ask, as you can see from the photographs presented granting more time would just simply prohibit the city from taking action if we need to.
Okay. Do you have a comment on that, Mr. Riemenschneider?
Okay, so can you tell me specifically on these photos, which ones that need to be fixed immediately?
You know, that's something that I think you'd have to do with an inspector. We're not gonna sit here today and go over that with you.
Okay.
That's something you'd have to do. That, which is
Mr.
another good reason. Why we
Mr.
would
Chairman, if I
remand.
may respond,
Go ahead.
there's an expectation that the appellant hires a design professional to do an evaluation, to do a structural, have an engineer evaluate the property. We at the city will identify the visible issues, but as far as the expectation is that it is all corrected because the building is supposed to be maintained under its original approval, and this one has not been. So a design professional will be required. The inspector does not design fixes and engineer the solutions.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's all the more reason to remand the property. So I'm gonna move that we do not find any more time and remand the property Department of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion is in order.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Bradley, second by Ms.
Second.
Lipscomb. Okay,
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
yes. Okay, so you'll be notified within 2 weeks. That means you can still proceed with what your plans are, but I would move on it. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next docket. Okay, the next docket is A3223, and it has been withdrawn. And so we'll move on to the next docket, A3323. Let's see, we got 4237 Rocky River Drive.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance, issued January 19th of 2023. Appeal was received February 14th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Terry Douglas.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Terry Douglas.
Terry Douglas?
Yes.
Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
So our plans, we have a couple issues going on here with the actual apartment that was in here in the exterior. I did submit pictures of the current condition. We had to move that tenant out into another unit. There was a pre-existing issue before the property was bought August of last year that was not told to the current owner. So that unit, all the pipes have been painted. But since then, in that wall repair, we had to remove all the carpet, open the floor, remove 12 inches of drywall around the whole border of the unit. I currently, I had an estimate and the gentleman backed out. He said it was a little too much for him. So we have another team, one that's gonna do the exterior, which is the fence and the stuff on the building. I do have the windows ordered. I just need the gentleman, we're gonna pull the permit. He's gonna do those. He's on his current job for the next 3 weeks. And then he is mine for the taking for this per se. So between the windows and the unit, the actual unit apartment 1, I'm foreseeing that we need, I'm gonna say 2 to 3 months. That unit is,
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman to Ms. Douglas, could you please state the property management company that you work for?
yes, ma'am. I work for the Broadway Realty Group.
Okay, thank you.
okay.
You're welcome.
Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, your owner took possession of this property, you said August of 2022?
Yeah, I believe it was August. I started a little bit after, so I don't know the exact date. I believe my boss said it was August.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is a we're almost a year now, but it was a newly purchased property. And as I've stated, there is an expectation that these things are corrected, immediately. And that we don't, before the city has to get there and cite for the conditions. The conditions were known when the property was purchased. However, they have relocated the tenant to make the repairs. The rental registration is current, and there appears to be the lead safe certificate is pending with our office. All of that being said, it appears that the owner is making an attempt to be a beneficial owner to this property, and we do not object to 90 days.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
For the record, I do note that the citation mentions smoke detectors, so I wanted to put that on the record.
Do you have the detectors?
Yes, sir. I don't have pictures. We went through the whole property actually, and unit by unit, we installed carbon dioxide detectors and smoke alarms where they needed to be. That's part of when we newly take on a property, we do walk. We were delayed because we lost our property manager shortly after on take of the property. So we've been understaffed as well, but we did go through the whole property, myself and the maintenance guy. Every single unit received smoke alarms and carbon dioxide detectors. I also had Mr. Z walk and do all the, fire extinguishers in the hallway. So we inspected that. We added 2 where they were needed. We also put smoke alarms and CO2 in the basement with the boiler room and the hot water tanks. So we did take care of that matter, yes.
Okay, so the appellant has stated they are in place.
Mr. Chairman, we would ask that Inspector Derritt be called for a re-inspection within the next 2 weeks to verify that.
Okay,
As part of the conditions of the granting of more time.
okay. So we need to have that inspector out within the next 2 weeks. We will give you till August 21st, 90 days, 2023 to abate all violations. Motion is in order. Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipstone.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, so you will be notified within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the next docket. Next docket is A3423 11107 Fortune Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior maintenance, issued on January 20th of 2023. Appeal received February 14th of 2023, requesting for more time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Aston Law, Dan Jacobson Law. Would the owner or his or her representative please state your name for the record?
Terry Douglas.
Okay, Ms. Douglas, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead and proceed and let us know what your plans are.
Okay, so our plans, the only thing that needs done is the bathroom with the boiler pipe coming out the floor. So the tenant that initially reported this moved out in March. We've re-rented it. So on the turn, rehanging the stove hood was part of that. CO2 detector also, smoke alarms correctly placed. There were some in the unit, they just weren't correctly placed. The vestibule has been redone with new flooring, new subflooring, new threshold, new paint, new lighting. So the only thing that needs done is that pipe coming out the floor. And I do have somebody scheduled out to come out through the boiler company that installed our boiler. My maintenance guy is not equipped to handle removing that. I foresee just needing 30 days. My appointment is in 29 days with him.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, to Ms. Douglas, please state the property management company you work for.
The Broadway Realty Group,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
okay, Mr. Vanover.
Well, Mr. Chairman, this property has several complaints, including, and the violation notice does include smoke detectors. It's not installed adjacent, but she already discussed that. And it appears that all the work, according to the appellate, is in progress, although there has been no follow-up inspections to verify that. We would ask that it be inspected quickly. Also, this property does not have a record of lead safe certificate or rental registration. So we don't object to 30 days with the expectation of no further extensions, and that the rental registration and the lead safe certificate be submitted within that 30-day period.
Okay, so we need to get it inspected as soon as possible. You need to provide that, the lead certificate and for certificate of rental occupancy. And we will give you the 30 days to July 21st, 2023 with no further time to be granted. Motion is in order.
So move.
Moved by
Second.
Mr. Bradley, second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next docket.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I just wanted to alert you that we do have Councilwoman Gray. She has joined us this morning. She's probably here for the dockets that were in her ward that was withdrawn. I don't know if you want to pull them up or did you want to wait to the end?
no,
But I
we
just
will.
wanted to acknowledge that Councilwoman Gray is online with us this morning.
Okay, let's go right to the council person and see if she wants to speak now or after we call them up. Like, I guess we'll have to open up.
I also see that the attorney for Shaker Apartments Owners LLC has also joined in, but I did receive withdrawal appeals for all of the dockets that was before us today that he represents.
Okay, let's go ahead and call up those dockets. So I'll go ahead and I guess we're gonna call them all up together if there's no objection to doing that from the city. And that way there, because I think they're all in the same status and you can
Guys can
make
come
your
up.
comments. Okay, so docket
Mr.
eight-
Chairman,
Yes,
even though those dockets are withdrawn, we do have residents here as well as their representative or neighborhood advocate, Mr. Jay Westbrook, here in attendance as well. You guys can come up to the table. You can bring extra chairs.
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
Mr. Chairman, we would object to hearing these dockets. They were withdrawn by the appellate, and therefore that is their right. It is their appeal. And being that they're withdrawn, there's nothing before this board to discuss.
okay. I think that there may, that Carmela may have a, Ms. Davis may have a comment. I'm going to ask her if she does after hearing that from the city. Ms. Davis, do you have a comment?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a comment in regards to did you want to call out the following dockets that has been withdrawn?
Well, generally, if they're withdrawn, yeah, I'll call them all out. So,
Mr. Chairman, I want to renew my objection. There is no, if they are withdrawn, if they are officially withdrawn, as Ms. Davis said, they are officially withdrawn from this board, then the board has no authority, and there's nothing before the board to hear.
Okay,
I
generally,
believe calling the dockets is inappropriate.
okay.
So noted.
Okay. All right, without calling the dockets, Ms. Davis, do you have a comment?
To read into the record, Mr. Chairman, we do have to read that the following dockets have been withdrawn. The attorney did make a statement or a comment against the conduct of this board that needs to be read into the record for clarification.
Okay. All right, then I'll go ahead and just make a decision that all we're gonna do, we're not gonna give locations. I'm just gonna name the docket numbers and then we're gonna go from there. So A6623, A7223, A7623, A8223, A8323, A8423, A8523, A8623, and A8723 have been withdrawn.
Mr. Chairman, did you mention A7223?
Let me take a look. I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Davis.
Mr. Chairman, for clarification, the board would like to read into the record that when the appellant files an appeal, they are giving a tentative date for a hearing that it expressed in their dockets that they received from the board and that it expressed in the email communication that they received from my office. Once the board reviews the nature of all appeals received and they find that they are a public safety hazard, the board has the right to reschedule public safety violations at an earlier time, which this board finds that the following dockets that was withdrawn, we had the right to do so. The appellant was giving more than 10-day notice to prepare before this board their statement of an appeal. In the letter that the board received this morning, and if you want me to read it into the record or a public record request can be made to get a copy of the withdrawal appeal, you can do that through the public records portal through the law department if you want copies of that. But to summarize, the lawyer felt that the board was unjust in moving their dockets up from an August and November date until today's date. And I would end my statement there, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So we're not going to hear any other testimony on this because they have been withdrawn. We just got you to put your statement in for the record, and that's all we're going to say about it, I guess, at this time. I don't know if Councilwoman has a statement that she wants to make, but you know, it's in regards to this. But I think because we're not hearing any, it's probably best we don't.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that we don't take any testimony from anybody
Okay.
because the appellant has withdrawn and they are not here.
Okay, very good. That we're going to leave it as that. Okay, we'll move on to the next docket, which is okay. Docket 83623, 9823 Lake Avenue.
Application fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance, issued January 30th of 2023. Appeal statement was received January 17th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record. If you are a management group, please state the company that you are representing.
Sarah August with Overland Properties.
Hey, Ms. August, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Excuse
Okay,
me.
go.
My name is Robert Friedman, and I'm the attorney for Overland Properties on this appeal as well.
Okay, very good, Mr. Friedman. Do both of you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
Okay, whoever's going to be giving testimony here, we're going to start it off. Go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I am very pleased to let this board know that all 27 of the violations that were the subject of this appeal have been completed and have been inspected by Inspector Turek, and I believe that we have full completion of the outstanding violations, and for that reason, the appeal should be granted.
Okay, let me go over to Mr. Vanover.
So, Mr. Chairman and Ms. Davis, can you please provide me the violation number for the case before us?
Mr. Chairman to Mr. Vanover. Violation number V as in Victor, 230-02556.
So, Mr. Chairman, our records indicate that that notice of violation has been inspected and has been closed as compliant. So they are correct in that they have corrected the violations. However, for the record and for the appellate, violation number V as in Victor 220-30862 was issued in December of 2022, and it appears that it is still open. That work may have been corrected, but not yet inspected by the inspector. So just as that is not before this board, but just as a point of information for the appellate, you're going to want to follow up on that to get that one closed as well.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Vanover, is that violation assigned to Inspector Turek as well?
It is not. It was actually Inspector Karen Harris. However, if you reach out to Inspector Turek, he should be able to handle, satisfy what you need.
I was unaware of that violation notice. We will do so immediately.
Okay, so for the one that's for us, we'll give to today's date, June 21st, 2023, to abate all violations. Motion is so in order.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second,
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, docket A 3723 4629 Clark Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance, issued January 18th of 2023. Appeal received February 17th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Deborah Flager.
You're gonna have to go by that one again.
Deborah Flager.
Okay. It's Lager?
Flager.
Okay, Ms. Flager. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
I'm in the process of getting the work completed to correct the violations. First, I needed to get an idea of how much the work would cost, and I had a masonry contractor come out and wrote up a proposal on February 13th. I sent that in. Work had to be delayed because it was winter and it was weather permitting work, and I also needed time to get funds together. On June 7th, the contractor came back out to make sure nothing had changed, nothing had. So he gave me an updated work proposal, which is attached. And I am currently waiting for scheduling since his workload is backed up right now. As soon as it can be done, we're ready. He asked me to request 1 to 2 months to complete the work. So I'm asking for 60 days or until the end of August to get the work complete.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, I will note for the record, this is a commercial property that is and not a residential property. These conditions did not happen this winter. So we don't object to more time to getting it corrected. This is on a main street and could be a viable business, which is what the city wants and the citizens want. So we don't object to the 60-day or even August 31st period with no further extensions.
Okay, motion is in order to give to August 31st, 2023 to abate all violations. Motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have docket A 3123 7628 Worley Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance. Issued on February 8th of 2023. Appeal statement received February 10th of 2023 to request time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
I'm sorry, who is being asked it?
Could you please state your name for the record?
Oh, I am Benjamin Rosalowski.
Okay, Mr. Rosalowski, solemnly
No,
swear
not
to
at all.
tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Well, Your Honor, I have been trying to work with this tenant. She is a holdover tenant. Someone's talking in the background.
Tomorrow, if I can get.
Okay, could all others mute
If I had been to do it today.
while we're taking testimony here?
Everybody.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
your mic is hot.
Call you back. What'd you say?
Mute your microphone.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Rosalowski, I think we've corrected the situation. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Gallagher and board members, I'm a landlord. I manage about 15 properties in the city of Cleveland. This is my first appearance in front of the board. I have a tenant holdover situation here. I I have provided about 10 documents to discuss today. I have a hostile tenant who has threatened my life. There's a police report. I've supplied this board with an audio of that and an audio video of her denying a court order to allow us in. If I may, I would like to kind of read this statement that was sent to your offices. Ms. Jackson, the tenant, is a hostile holdover tenant from October 31st of 2022 lease end. An eviction action was filed against Ms. Jackson on January 6th, 2023. 7628 Worley passed a CMHA housing quality standards inspection on September 12th of 2022. She was served a 30-day notice on September 13th and a 3-day notice on November 2nd. As a reasonable man, I agreed to allow Ms. Jackson time to find a place through Thanksgiving and Christmas. She refused to move and keep her promise, and an eviction action was filed on January 6th. Ms. Jackson retaliated, calling the Cleveland Department of Health and Cleveland Building and Housing in retaliation for the eviction. Note, the health department found no violations. C2 attached Cleveland Health Department PDFs. Legal aid stepped in and filed counterclaims against me totaling $30,500. A trial has been set for July 3rd. And the notice to you gentlemen, it was July 1st, it was an error, for the first cause of action, which is this coming July 3rd. Below is I have a timeline I've given you from Building and Housing complaint. Note that working smoke detectors and CO detectors were present for the September 12th, 2022 CMHA housing quality inspection. 2 attempts for handymen to go into and investigate and repair were made. These repairs were cut short. See document signed by Ms. Jackson when they got in. She didn't want to let us spend the time in there, so she signed off on a couple things. I included that. So new CO detectors were installed again, and backup batteries were reinstalled in the hardwired smoke detectors that were present. I believe these were sabotaged because I can't pass a housing quality inspection without those working items. And the CO detectors were missing. They have been replaced, sir, and the hardwired smoke detectors are working. So after a court order to allow further inspection, maintenance, and scheduled lead clearance examination was ordered, and I was threatened with bodily harm. A timeline is provided below, along with the attached strings of major correspondence to Ms. Jackson is a holdover tenant. So on January 26th, a complaint was filed with Ms. Jackson. The violation was issued to me shortly after for these few items. It was inspected by Mr. Turek on February 2nd. I appealed after speaking with Mr. Turek about the conditions and the hostility. So I first presented notice to enter on 2/24. I emailed Mr. Turek requesting additional information because when these building and housing reports come out, sir, they have general categories. And when you're not able to get into a home, it's very hard to understand exactly what is necessary to be done. The owner, I had a first request put in on February 28th, requesting to enter the property to Ms. Jackson. These are formal notices posted on the door. On the 4th, I gave a second notice because they couldn't make the first notice. On March 6th, my handymen went in to the units. They were able to repair, or we were able to take care of those smoke detectors, the CO detectors, and a few other items. And then we had a work stop from her. So I emailed Mr. Turek with an extensive report showing everything that we did. The magistrate ordered her to allow us in. So a third notice to enter for lead clearance exam and inspection with the handyman and further maintenance was given on April 13th, 2023. I planned a lead testing and inspection and repairs for the 15th. I was menaced on 4/13/23 with actions of bodily harm, and while posting on the back door, see the affidavit I have supplied. I was directly threatened with bodily harm. A recording has been provided to this council, and the date was posting the notice on the door. She threatened me not to come back. I've provided you with a video of that, her tearing up the notice to allow us to come into the property. And I filed a Cleveland police report on April 14th, 2023. I've supplied this affidavit to this thing, and I'm asking that I be allowed to wait till this eviction is done, because this is a hostile environment and I'm tired of being subjected to this. So that's kind of it.
When is the eviction date?
Well, we're January or July 3rd, we have the first cause hearing in court. And I've been trying to get my property back since October. I mean, this is legal aid is weaponizing the use of their funds to tie property owners up with red herrings of everything possible. It's unconscionable what's happening in our court system downtown. And all I'm asking this council to do is, or this board, is to allow me, we have taken care of and everything. There's nothing in that house right now that is a health and safety hazard. Mr. Turk has been out there. I was hoping he would be here today.
Mr. Chairman, this is Dan from Dan Jacobson from Law. I don't mean to interject, but I do want to object to the characterization of legal aid. And although the appellant is allowed to express his views, if it's becoming repetitive at this point. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know who that person is that's speaking.
He's the attorney for the city.
Okay. And what is his name, please?
Jacobson.
Dan.
Mr. Dan Jacobson.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jacobson. So sir, I'm asking this board for time, because how do you deal with this? I mean, my lead inspector doesn't want to even go in there. I mean, I don't know what to do.
Okay, well, you've done what you need to do, and as you filed legally for the eviction, and so you're having your first hearing on the 3rd. So I'm going to go over to Mr. Vanover and see what his comments are.
Mr. Chairman, business is a balance of risk and reward. Owning rental property is very profitable, could be very profitable, and one can be very successful doing that. Also, part of that equation in the risk category is that, unfortunately, there are times when the people that pay the bills can be very challenging and very disruptive. And that's the risk part for risk and reward. This is a business decision that was made to get into the real estate investment business. And this is part of that. While I attempt to be empathetic with, the conditions and the things that have happened here, the tenant did not cause many or even most of the problems that are in the notice of violation, Mr. Chairman. And reading through those, those items, although those smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors can be damaged by tenants, deterioration in broken cabinets or deterioration of the cabinets, the interior foundation needs to be pointed. The bathroom drain is not working. The water closet is not working. The living room windowsill is casing is deteriorated or missing. The dining room floor cracked and broken. These are not things that one can damage. So these are not tenant problems. These are ownership and neglect problems. And part of this business is a standardized inspection and maintenance process. I haven't heard a date other than the first cause hearing is July 3rd. Again, this is part of the business, and while I empathize to be threatened, with the appellate being threatened and risk of bodily harm, I haven't heard a date. We don't object to more time to correct the violations, but I don't know what that is. We would ask for no more than 60 days, and we would ask that once this tenant is removed, that there be no occupancy of this property until all of the violations are corrected and the property is brought up to code as required.
Okay, so that'll be 60 days, August 21st, 2023, to abate all the violations, and that they be, well, let's say this, to give you time for that to remove the tenant, I guess, and then to abate all the violations before it's relet.
Well,
Motion?
So move.
Do I get a?
Do you have a comment, Mr. Rosalewski?
Yes, yes. The only comment that I appreciate, Mr. Dan's, I'm sorry, I forgot his last name.
Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Vanover's comments. This situation isn't meant to be adverse. I have gone, my handyman did go in there, and since he went over each one of these situations, I want to make it very clear. Okay, and I don't have that form of the violations in front of me for some reason, but all of the violations are almost 80% of them are done. And Mr. Turk was supposed to go out. I was expecting to be here and make a comment on this. So it's not like we haven't done anything. So the smoke detectors were fixed. This idea of the tuck pointing, that was done. We went in and we used we didn't need to do tuck pointing because like the photograph down there in the left side with the window, it wasn't necessary. There was a little bit of leak from settling of the glass block windows. So we foamed that area. We also foamed the area. There's not a picture showing here of the other area. Mr. Turk agreed that it was okay to do that. This is the walls that are being shown. It was building and housing. I gave you the evidence. There is no mold. There is no issue there. That's crystallization of from moisture in and out. And her house is full of clothes, and she disconnects the laundry vent to heat the house. These window situations, Mr. Turk, we couldn't even describe what the problem was. He showed the foggy window there. Well, it was because her window was open. When our handyman went in, the external window was open. There is no two problems. They don't even exist. This picture of the
Mr. Chairman, I would, so the request was for more time. I'm looking at the Inspector Turk's inspection record and his status report. He does not indicate that the corrections have been made. If the appellant is claiming, is objecting to the items on the notice of violation, I think that we can show the photographs presented. Please let me finish, sir. If the photographs presented show that the conditions exist. And so at that point, we would ask that you just deny it and remand it back and find that the violation notice was properly issued and uphold the notice of violation.
Why is this, may I speak?
Yes, go ahead, Mr.
It's just,
Lozano.
why is this being antagonistic? Could I please show the emails? Then I sent the evidence in. Ms. Waverly said that I sent in 10 documents to show what was corrected. Could we put that up on the screen? I did go in and my handyman went in and took care of it. I mean,
You're saying that all these pictures that are showing up here have been abated.
no, not all. No, not
Okay,
all.
well then, all right, so,
Okay.
yeah, that's part of the
But
problem.
we have finished some of them, sir. I'm not trying to be, I just want to be able to get back in there. And how do you go into a hostile tenant?
Okay, well, listen, we're gonna go back to original. We're gonna give you 60 days, okay, to abate all the violations that exist. That's August 21st, 2023, and that motion is so in order.
Chairman,
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Vanover.
we would ask that you also uphold the notice of violation as properly issued.
Oh, we are. We're gonna uphold that the notification is properly issued. Okay, and we have evidence. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Motion is in order.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, you'll be given notice within 2 weeks. Thank you. Okay, so we have, docket A3523, 6305 Luther Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. You guys can come pick your fees. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance issued on February 1st of 2023. Appeal received February 15th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her, attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Our attorney isn't present.
I'm gonna need you to speak a little louder.
Our attorney is not present. I didn't
That's
know.
okay. That's
He had
just
to be.
formality. Just state your name for the record.
Samuel Gilmore.
And your name?
Sandra Gilmore.
Gilmore? Okay, got it. All right, Mr. Gilmore solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and let us know, how much time you need.
Can't hear him.
He said, how much time do you need?
Probably 4 months to get another, we, made,
Yeah, the electrical work.
did the electrical work. The electrical work was done. We decided to have the building torn down and removed. I made arrangements with a company called Stone Brothers 4/13/2023. They, were telling me that they were having a hard time getting the permits they needed to remove the building. And we found out from, the building inspector, Mr.
He called last week.
Arnold, that they had not bothered to get any permits whatsoever. Okay, this is information.
Cashier's checking everything.
Are you talking about your vendor didn't try to, apply for a permit?
Right.
The construction company. Because
There's
we
just one, there is just one building here, is that correct?
No, there are two buildings on the property,
Okay.
6305 and 6307. We reside at 6307.
And which one are you talking about tearing down? 6305?
6305.
Okay, all right, let's go over to Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, there's several violation notices, so if I can get through them, it appears that there's a no permit for plumbing and there's a no permit for electrical. And Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, what work was being completed without a permit?
The, CBO asked you a question. Could you repeat that, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vanover, please repeat?
My question is, what work was being done without a permit?
No work was being done without a permit. The construction company that I engaged were supposed to tear down the building. They were supposed to receive permits. And I found out from the inspector, he just called me on the 12th and let me know that they never got permits to do the work that they were supposed to do.
But did
So
they tear the building down?
No, the building is still standing. Right now, I'm in the process of trying to get another construction or company to remove the building from the property.
So there's a violation notice for work without a permit for electrical work on the panel box and a plumbing permit for waste lines.
No, all work in the building was done with permits. The smoke detectors were installed, the lighting fixtures were repaired, at which time we decided we just have the building torn down and removed. And the electrical work was done by Mr. Electric.
And what, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, what about the plumbing work?
I was unaware of any plumbing work that needed done.
Well, according to the record, there was a violation issued for plumbing work without a permit for drain lines.
I'm not aware of that. I spoke with the inspector and told him what our intentions was to remove the building. And he said that, since that's what we're gonna do, we shouldn't have to worry about anything else. But
I just need some clarification here because, you know, we're talking about 6305, which he's talking about demolishing. And
Right.
maybe this electrical work was done in 6307. Is that correct?
no, the electrical work was done in 6305. All of the smoke detectors that were required, the light fixtures on the side, on the outside of the building, all that was repaired.
Okay. And now you're going to tear it down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So that's the only one that's before us, and it's going to get tore down. Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman to Ms. Davis, are the violations for all, that are under appeal for no permit?
No, Mr. Vanover. The violations that was before us is only under V 23003029. That was issued on February 1st, 2023.
Bear with me.
Is it okay for me to speak?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, the
Yes.
appellate would like to make another
Yeah,
statement.
I was unaware of any other violations. We tried to take care of the ones that were immediately necessary. And at that time, we informed the inspector that we planned on tearing the building down and getting rid of it.
Okay, well, Mr. Vanover's checking the record, so let's give him a minute.
All right. Mr. Arnold
Ms.
called.
Davis, just to confirm, that violation notice ends with 3029.
Yes. For interior and exterior maintenance.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, looking at money paid to Storm Brothers Construction, was money paid to them?
No.
It wasn't paid yet. That
We
was the
haven't
down
paid
payment we
it.
had.
We had the check drawn so we could pay them half of the money when they started. We've been sitting there waiting for them to come out with their equipment to tear the building down. They never did. Then we find out from Mr. Arnold that they never even applied for the permits that they needed to tear the building down.
But they're leading us on saying they have
They're
a
just
problem with the
leading us
city getting
on.
permits.
And Mr. Chairman, to the
Can I ask for
appellant,
the name of that company again?
Storm Brothers.
Storm Brothers is spelled STORMBRO''S.
So they had been lying to us all this time about what they were gonna do, and they never did anything. They never came out. I'm in the process of trying to find another company that's willing to come out and take the building down and remove it.
But our daughter didn't move out until May 15th. The housing court gave her a deadline to move out by May 15th.
Yeah, because she lied and told them that we promised to give her the house.
And Mr.
Honestly,
Chairman, to
everything,
Mr. Vanover, I am looking at statements from Storm Brothers Construction where the appellants have provided a cashier's check in the amount of half of the demolition costs.
We never gave them the
Mr.
check.
Chairman to Mr. Jacobson, that comes from Storm Brothers? That statement?
No,
Or-
the invoice, and Mr. Director to Mr. Vanover, the invoice comes from Storm Brothers. The cashier's check is issued from a credit union to Storm Brothers.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, based on the information, with the understanding that the property is vacant, we do not object to 120 days to facilitate the demolition of this property.
Okay, so we're looking at October 21st, 120 days to 2023 to abate the violation. Motion so in order.
So move.
Okay, moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Davis has stepped out temporarily.
Oh, okay.
Take a moment.
Okay,
Or, Mr. Chairman, you can take the roll.
okay. Mr. Bradley? Okay, Ms. Jacobson?
Can I
Say
say,
yes. Okay, and Gallagher, yes. Okay, so you will be notified within 2 weeks. Thank you.
So they gave you until October to get it published, so you can go ahead and.
Okay, so we'll wait on Ms. Davis for the next docket.
okay, what I was gonna say is, they called us last week saying they trying to get a permit, so while we was here, we were gonna both see if they actually applied for the permit.
Can we have you mute down? Thank you.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, we're gonna call docket A 9123. The last one we called the roll for, so it's in the record.
Okay.
828 Huron Road.
Application and fees are in order. Thank you. This is an adjudication order. To the Ohio Building Code. Those for your files. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman to Ms. Davis, if they, I can be available to talk with the owners of Luther Avenue once we conclude these hearings.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. This is an adjudication order to the Ohio Building Code for automatic sprinkler system. We first heard this docket back on May 10th of 2023. It was postponed to be rescheduled to today after the parties went back to the table to speak to the Department of Building and Housing and Division of Fire. Present for the hearing today is Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. I believe we have Lieutenant, is he still on there? Olesiak, I'm sorry.
I'm present.
Okay. I don't see the appellant. I did speak with them last week. I was under the impression that they were going to be withdrawing their appeal. They told me they were going to be sending me something. I guess once the chairperson swear everybody in, then we can move forward with that.
Okay, so we're not seeing anybody on there, so we'll go ahead, swear you in, Mr. Vanover. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God. And Lieutenant Olesiak. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, we did have a conference with the owners of this property. And they were able to provide a great deal of historic documents and information. And then shifted their design to include the existing building chapter 34 portions of the Ohio Building Code. We are waiting for them to provide their final documents on that. So the adjudication order still stands and will until they provide us with that documentation. I'm going to ask that you postpone this for 2 weeks. I would expect in that time that we would, if they provide to us what I am expecting them to provide, I am assuming that the adjudication order will be lifted. and their appeal will be moot at that point. However, at this time, the adjudication order is still active, and there are still a design contrary to the code.
Okay, well, we'll redo it in 2 weeks. So no action is required at this particular time.
I think that, Mr. Chairman, I believe you actually have to officially postpone it, yes.
Okay, so we will do that. We'll make a motion to postpone for 2 weeks. Motion so in order.
So move.
Okay, Mr. Bradley?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
I want to move that actually until
The 10th,
July 19th.
July 19th. Okay. All right, so it will be moved, postponed until July 19th. Motion is so in order. Mr. Bradley?
So move.
Okay, Ms. Linscomb?
Second.
Okay,
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
yes. So notice will be sent out within 2 weeks, unless we have other further notification from them. Okay, or the city. Thank you. That was the last docket. So we'll move on to resolutions. We have A 3522, A 823, A 923, 1023, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 23, A 9423. Motion is in order.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Approval of minutes for June 7, 2023. Are there any additions or corrections?
No.
Motion is in order
So move.
by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lipscomb.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Lipscomb,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Is there any further business to come before us?
No.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. See you in 2 weeks.
Have-
Enjoy the holiday.
have a good
Yes.
2 weeks.
Hello, may I ask a question?
Who's this?
This Mr. Rosalowski?
I'm not sure because we are over.
Well,
So
yes,
you
we're
may-
over. So does that mean I just want to ask a question, a procedural question for future dates?
For
How
future
does,
dates.
yeah,
You did-
how does a